Here is the invocation I'd like to use. Except I have to get rid of that. There we go. This is called Hidden Lantern by a woman, Jan Richardson. And I think it embodies a lot of what we are working with in this series. Steady, love. This is what the struggle is for. The press of darkness and time making its own light. As if in the earth a hidden lantern, or in the seed a star that blossoms, finally into the yielding night, bearing forth the radiant day. So one of the things that I hope that this invocation does is it gives a sense of the paradox that we're working with. Because it really is. It's a paradox to be living in a formed, dense body as a spiritual being. And that light that we are all made up of the stars, it's there inside of us, and yet the form in which we live, which is kabed. If you came in for the song, the kabed is form. It is the embodiment. It is the contraction. Yes, what it takes to form a form is to be contracted, to have muscles. Otherwise, if we were formless, we'd be a puddle on the floor.
You couldn't have this world without the one compressing into this dense, low-frequency substance that we all are horrified and in ecstasy with.
Right. And so it is a part of what is called the darkness, because in what they call the darkness of human ignorance, it's the parts of us that really are up against the contraction. We don't want it. We don't want things to be the way they are. And so in that fight to not have things be the way they are, in whatever circumstance that is, it's the fight really itself that is the darkness. It's the fight. It's kind of like taking a continual inhale, just holding on. I want it to be this way. I want it to happen this way. This is not about, this is like an intro to justice, but this is the first part of coming into what is real true justice, which is what our May retreat will be on. Because I'm not saying we do nothing, but I'm saying we have to recognize that the contraction, the darkness that most of us are upset about is really all about our reaction to this density, this fact that things are constantly moving and changing and flowing, and we don't like that.
And we can't meet the world from a clear place unless we accept the darkness. Then we can take clear, effective action.
So until we can see that you could say that the seed, which is our bodies, are this contracted form that actually does produce this amazing light, until we can have both of them exist, we have no capacity to really live out our role as a human being in a spiritual body, which is why we are here. And I love this particular image, because the darkness is both the density of the planets, which you can see is kind of falling through the hands, but at the same time it's like it's all part of what we're formed of, the light, and yet it's dense. To be a planet, to be the earth that we're standing on, it has to be dense, or it would not exist as substance. So we have this dilemma to have to both allow ourselves to feel this substance and also be able to expand beyond it, which is basit. And to hold them both is wasi. So these are names of the divine. Wasi, the one who holds, who can hold it all. Kabed, the contracting, the way we have to contract to be in a body. We have to be embodied. And basit, the expander. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah, I think that in most systems you find this. Certainly in Inayat Khan Sufism, you go from the very refined in the soul, wince and wither to the dense layers of matter. And when we were in Peru, in Peruvian shamanism, they're very clear about it. There's that low frequency vibration that everything's made out of, and then the more refined, higher frequency. And how do we hold both, really? So in most systems, you'll see this layering of reality, because that really reflects our existence. And the last thing is, Jean Shinoda Bolen, the Jungian analyst, said, we're spiritual beings on a human path, which is what we alluded to. So again, how do we hold both? So the song has both, and the Yawasi is really the beautiful name of reality or infinity that opens that capacity in us to hold through the vibration. Yawasi, yeah.
Lovely. So we will be starting with a soul work induction. And this induction really, it's just a way of coming into the body. Because no matter what we're doing, if we've left the body behind, we are no longer really embracing who we are.
Accepting the kabed, the particle
right.
and wave, the basit, the wave, the particle level of existence.
That's right. That denseness of this is also who we are, who we have to deal with in this reality.
So for those who are new, welcome. We usually start with a song at 5 of, and then we come into a little discussion of the topic, and then Yaya leads the induction, and then I'll lead the guided soul work meditation, and then we'll have a chance for sharing. And we video, for those who miss it, all these, but we never video any sharing, so we'll turn off the recording then. So, and as you move, because Yaya encourages us all to move, it's a great way to get in the body. If you feel, parts of you feel shy, then you could always turn off your camera and come back.
You can turn off your camera. That's a great way of doing it, because you don't, nobody needs to see but you. Just use your inner eyes. But if you're willing, let yourself get up and stand. I stand for most of the class except for the meditation, just because it keeps me connected into this vehicle.
Yeah.
So, as you're finding your way, just feeling feeling your feet on the floor and noticing your breath. Noticing as you settle in to just feeling those feet connected with that solid ground underneath you. No matter where you are, you're not falling through the air or through space. I know that to be certain. And so there is some solidity underneath you, which we call earth. And there's also the solidity of your own body. So I want you to notice first just that solidity, that connection between your feet and the solidness of the earth. And whether or not you're comfortable with that, just notice, how is it to feel that? Do you enjoy that? Do you try to go up in your head, or can you really let yourself feel what it feels like, that contact with the floor, with your feet? Just start there. And the breath. And you can notice that in that inhale, as you're trying to contact the floor, or trying to let yourself really bring your awareness into the solidity that is both in your own foot and in the floor, that on that inhale, it actually pulls us up a little bit almost away from the earth because the muscles are contracting to let in a greater expansion. It's an oxymoron, right? You have to create space in the body to let that air in. So feel that how the inhale has us pull away a little bit, and the exhale lets us come back down into the earth, into that heaviness. And just enjoy for a moment that amazing change that's constantly happening on the inhale and the exhale, and how one of them brings us a little bit closer to the earth and one of them brings us a little bit more into, you could say, the expanding of the air in the lungs. And just feel your way with this. We're going to begin to feel that whole, now that we've felt the earth and maybe a connection to what that feels like and our desire to get close to it or not, we're going to feel into our own legs, our own, these vehicles that we have that are so muscled and boned. So for each inhale, I want you to kind of pull up one leg, feel the contraction of your leg, and then let it go back down to the earth on that exhale. Really nice and slowly. You don't have to do anything that's going to cause you to be off balance. Just pull it up a little bit off the floor. You can feel that contraction of the muscles. And then place it back down and really enjoy the way the earth is holding it and the way your own body is also holding itself up.
And with soul work, remembering nice full inhalations, nice full exhalations.
Yes, breathing as much as you can, as full as you can. And then letting both legs kind of press down, let them contract a little bit into their muscles on an inhale, and then just letting them relax on that exhale. Feeling them pull up, maybe you go into a really super straight position and then you just let them relax back down into the earth. And let that super straight position come up all the way now into your hips. Feel your hips also bringing the tension of what it feels like to feel all the muscles in your hips. You don't have to over tense, but you're just letting yourself feel your body, and then you relax it back down into the earth again. Big inhale, feeling you might want to tilt your pelvis towards the front on the inhale and letting it go back on the exhale. We're doing nice, slow, big breaths.
Do you want us breathing in and out the nose for
We're breathing in and out of the nose. And let that contraction come all the way up into your solar plexus and your torso, feeling all those muscles in there, and then releasing them. But you don't have to overdo it. You can just let yourself feel that sense of this. We are so filled with muscles, bones, ligaments, fascia. So much of it can contract. Feeling it all the way up into your shoulders and your arms. It can feel good to let your body contract and then release. So it's not anything that you want to do to make yourself hurt. It's just to feel the substance of your body. Breathing in deeply on that inhale, letting all the way up to your shoulders and arms contract, and releasing it. And then just let your whole body take a breath in for earth. Let your whole body feel the muscles and the contraction, and then the release back down into the earth. And feel what it feels like now as you're just standing and breathing normally. See what your body is like now. See if it feels a little bit more connected in to the wholeness of this being, from your fingertips down to your toes and your belly in between, all the way up to your head. We didn't do your face yet, so we'll do that with the water. So as we go into the water and all the elements, you can see that the water, we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, through pursed lips. With water, if you look outside, water is almost never completely still. There's always some kind of movement, and that little movement is created by some kind of energy, whether it's the energy of the wind blowing the water, or there's fish moving around, or there is some kind of
thermal currents moving the ocean deep in the air, and the rotation of the planet actually creating the movement too.
Yes, so there's all this movement that's creating the flow of the water, and just like inside the body, it's through the contraction in the heart muscle that the blood is pumped throughout the whole body. So as we breathe in, we again think of that contraction of the water coming into our awareness. We have so much water in every cell of our body. We are bringing it in. It's contracting into a muscular situation, and then we release it and let it flow. So this time we're going to let our heads flow. We're going to have our feet be sturdy on the floor, and we're just going to let our heads really flow on that exhale. And on the inhale, you can imagine all of the whole energy of the body preparing to send the water, the healing energy, up to our heads. And again, we keep going like this. We're going to let it go up into our shoulders and our arms on that next breath. And we're imagining it as like a pump. It's like a pump, or thermal regulation. It's all sorts of different energies inside the body that is getting ready to send the water to the arms and the hands to let them flow. Feel that flow in your arms and your hands and your shoulders. That release, that lightness. And coming back and letting it go all the way up into your upper chest. Feel that inhale again. You can feel kind of the contraction of that inhale, and on the exhale, you let the water, the blood flow, the lymph flow, all in this part of your body, sending healing energy to it. But we need that contraction to get it there. And then on the next breath, we can come down into the solar plexus and the lower belly, letting it wiggle and turn all around, just like water does, constantly moving, turning, waving. And we let in the water into our hips. And then we let the hips really move on that exhale. And you're going to be in your own breath pattern, so you don't have to follow me. You can just take what I'm saying as it works for you. Breathing in, feeling that contraction into your legs. And then letting the legs, you might do one at a time, or just letting them really flow so that they're unencumbered. On the exhale. And on the inhale, we're just really letting ourselves feel now the imbibing of all of this liquid, this watery substance, and letting it all flow out through our whole bodies now. We're in a relationship with this water. Water on the inside, water on the outside. Water looks like it's just all liquid, it's just, we consider it more light. But if you go into the water, you're not going to dissolve. Just remember that. Here you are in your own substance. So feel that substance even as you feel your liquidity.
And it is light. It's like you go in the ocean or the water, you're buoyant, and yet you're in your body.
That's right. Both exist. And that's what is this paradox. So feeling that lightness inside with the water, but feeling the denseness. We're still in this particular form. Nothing wrong with that. So now we're going to come into the fire breath, breathing in through the mouth, through pursed lips, and out through the nose. Just begin to feel the difference in that after the liquidity has been in the body, now we're going to bring in the energy. This energy that, some of us don't even want the energy to come in, but the energy allows for like this vibration. So if you can imagine on that inhale, what's actually happening is this amazing vibration of energies coming in. That's what's allowing that contraction of the heart. It's allowing us to stand up on our legs. And so we're letting this whole vibration come in. We can let the whole body just gently vibrate. You can start maybe with the legs, with that inhale. And then on the exhale, notice, you can just let it smooth out. And this is how the fire element can affect us, is we can allow that energy in, it affects us, and then we let it smooth out on that exhale. We should let it shine. So breathing it in from the tips of your feet, tips of your toes, into your legs, into your solar plexus and your hips. And letting it radiate on that exhale. So big breath in, really taking it in on your inhale. And then letting it just gently radiate out, all smooth out on that exhale. And feel that again all the way up into our torso, up to our hearts. We are both. We're both this contraction. Feel it all the way up into your shoulders and your arms, your head and neck. And then we are this light that comes when we let this energy in. Let the whole body be filled with this energy on the next inhale. Big breath in. And let it just shimmer out. And just come back to your regular breath and notice right now how your body is. Notice that sense of the earth breath. It really helps us to be connected into that, you could say, the ability to give our weight, which is a lightening, because we're actually going and allowing the heaviness to be there. And then on the water, we let that lightening come of the healing when we can feel that contraction that it takes sometimes to be able to have the energy to expel, to cry, to let go of. It all takes this tremendous amount of contraction energy. And then on the fire, we can feel that aliveness that comes in, and then we can let it go to that place of shining in our lives, of really feeling the way it radiates out and affects everybody around us. But we have to first be willing to take in that contraction, that almost uncomfortable feeling of being electrified. And so we come to air, the last one. And with air, if you notice, we have a dilemma already. Air is all around. It's so huge, it's so big. And yet we have this tiny little mouth to take in the air, or nose. But in this case, we're going to take in the air through our pursed lips, through our mouth. And so we're going to really feel the limitation, the contraction of being in a body. You could say that's darkness. That is what creates a veil, something that is not just all light. We only have this amount in. So really feel that when you're taking the breath in, that limitation. And even as you exhale, feel how that can expand out now, so much larger than yourself. That you can imagine that breath is now coming not just out of your mouth, but out of every pore of your body. We breathe it in through a small straw almost. But we can really let that exhale take us out into that expansion. Expand beyond our boundaries. That's what Bassett says. That's what the air can do for us. It allows us to remember who we are, that we can only take in this much. But we can also really expand. And let yourself just breathe like that a few times and really feel that contraction of the inhale, expansion of the exhale. Remembering your body's still holding you up. You're in a body, and yet you're airy, you're light, especially on that exhale. So be aware of both. Wasi holds both realms. And one more air breath. And let your body just be who it is today, noticing how it's been affected by really coming into your breath and the elements. And notice the parts of you that still are always going to feel like a body, that are going to be holding you up, and you might feel some pain or contraction in a particular area, or maybe you just feel the sturdiness, the strength in an area. And then you are also going to feel those places inside, if you let yourself go to both, that are light and airy and really have you connected in some way to that light love inside. So imagine holding them both. That part of you that feels a little heavy today, heavy in a way that might feel a little difficult to be with. Whatever part that is. Maybe it's in a part of your body. Maybe it's an emotion. Maybe it's anger at the world or anger at somebody. Fear. But hold that part for a moment that feels a little contracted. And then bring in the part of you that feels also in space, airy, light, love. Where is that in your body? No need to get rid of either of them. And let's sit for a while. Find a good seat.
And
As you gently settle into your seat, just allowing your breath naturally to flow in and out. And so we're not moving to this refined breath, but a nice, slow, gentle, ritual inhalation and exhalation. Just feeling that expansion and contraction with every breath. So these we inhale, we energize, we bring light, love, and light in that level. And as we exhale, we just release and let go any stress, any tension, anything no longer needed by body, heart, mind, soul. But we also recognize in some places, some parts aren't ready to release, to relax yet, and that's fine. But imagine your chest plate soft and porous as the breath flows in and out of the sacred space of your heart. And just allow that for a few breaths, just bringing your awareness to the sacred space of your heart with the breath, the prana, the oxygen, the chi flowing in and out of the sacred space of your heart. And we're just opening yawasi to the state of our heart, the places that feel light and open, the places that may feel dense or heavy. We embrace everything. We just open to the garden of the heart, which is a place that can hold all of our human experience, all of our cosmic experience, all of this outer world can hold all these different levels of awareness, of reality. And as you continue to just relax into the sacred space, the garden of your heart, if there are any parts or cells that are busy or distracted, just asking them to step aside gently or to just come and rest in the garden of your heart. The garden of your heart, whether you remember or from a dream or a place you've read about, a place of love, of nurturance, of love, of harmony, of beauty. This is the sacred space of the heart. Really bringing the mind, allowing all the parts, all the cells to come into the heart just for this time of rest, of renewal. Just take a moment to just go through with the eye of the heart, with the ear of the heart, bringing the senses inward to just exploring the garden of your heart. And perhaps you see or hear or feel, or there's a fragrance or a taste, or perhaps it's just the intention of being in your heart. Nothing to do, nowhere to go right now. And some parts of the world are in beauty, some parts of the world are on fire, but there's always the sanctuary of your heart. And as you move through your soul work, just using my voice as a guide, you may find yourself tuning to your guidance and wanting to move more slowly or quickly. You may find yourself just resting for the rest of our guided meditation in your heart. That's fine. In a group we can't tune individually, so we do the best we can, but allowing you and your high self, your inner guidance, to find your rhythm. You may just stay in the heart, but when you're ready, with all love and all respect, you call upon high self, the angel of your being, your inner guide, to come into your heart for a time of communion, a time of guidance, a time of dialogue, but beginning by forming this relation, this reciprocity, breathing in as you have this intention to open, to be receptive to high self, whether it's the intention, a sense of presence, a visual image, a melody or voice, or the sound of the cosmos. Just opening, being receptive to high self, and receiving, breathing in as you breathe in, receiving the gift of the presence of high self, the baraka, the blessings, And as you breathe back, just breathing back thankfulness and gratitude, really allowing that beautiful reciprocity to occur. And if you wander away, note that that's a part. And all the parts aren't. The mind likes the intoxication of life. So we gently encourage that part to rest in the garden of the heart, or to gently step aside for these few moments. As right now, your focus, your awareness is on the relationship, communing with High Self. And that blessing comes into you as conscious self, and through you it can flow out to all the different cells, all the different parts inside. But to start, we just open to High Self for guidance as we begin our exploration for this new turn of the wheel, this new year. We bring our exploration to exploring darkness and light, holding both. Beloved High Self, any guidance for us on how to embrace the light and the dark in our inner world, in the outer world, and opening to the spiritual realms. Help me understand how I can better open and hold all of my human existence, all of the inner world in my unconscious, and all of the cosmic realms. How can I hold from the light to the most dense planes of existence? It could be as simple as just feel my tingling, feel my gentle presence in every cell, in every organ in your body. The Hyawasi holding the dense body and the subtle body at the same moment, holding the light in the shape of your form, the presence of High Self. And you can stay with this, but also thanking High Self for whatever blessing or guidance comes through, or just that intention to be receptive. Because the guidance of High Self may come through later today, just in awareness during the day, or perhaps tonight in a dream, or at another place in meditation or in remembrance. And as we've been opening, you may notice some cells, some parts that are uncomfortable or have certain concepts about the light and the dark and good and bad and what I should be holding or not. So see if you can just allow one that perhaps was perhaps was a little uncomfortable with coming into the body, into the form of flesh and blood. Just welcoming that one into the sacred space, into the garden of your heart. You're there with high self flowing through you as you just welcome and open the presence of this one who's maybe not completely comfortable with coming into the body or with this level of existence of this earth plane. And as you open to this one, just notice, are there any sensations in your body with this one? Any places of contraction or fear or anger, or those places in the body with those feelings? Are there feelings that this one has of trepidation or fear? Or perhaps hypervigilance, hyperalertness? And any thoughts or beliefs that this one has? And does this one have any behaviors? It wants to flee or disappear, or she wants to hide, or whatever this one wants to do in their bodies, whatever actions. As you just become aware, familiar with this one, begin to notice how you feel. And if you feel anything other than curiosity or love or compassion or empathy, know that that's another part that's uncomfortable. Asking that one to step aside, that you can just, in soul work, we open to approaching every self with love. Because every self, Yawasi, is a part of us. So we hold the whole symphony of ourselves inside. And just see if you can bring curiosity or compassion or love to this one. It's a little trepidatious about being in the form of flesh and blood, being in this world. And just open to this one, to whatever this one wishes to share, whether through thoughts or words or feelings or sensations in the body. Just open for a moment to say, I want to get to know you. Making sure that this one's aware of you as you're aware of it. And also, you get to know this one a little bit. You might just ask them about themselves. Especially if they're a protector. What do they see as their job or role in your psyche? Especially if they're afraid or contracting. What's their job? What's their role? You might even ask them. Every part that moved away from this life, this body we have, had a good reason to do so at some point in time. You might also ask them what they're afraid would happen if they didn't do their role, their job in your psyche. Asking them if they have an age or a name, the way they wish to be known. And if there's any way you can help them aside from just holding them in your heart, bringing the light and love of High Self through you to them, is there anything else you can do to help them? And just invite this part to breathe with you. Invite any other selves that are present to breathe with you and to breathe with High Self, to all rest in the heart of High Self, letting that love and light flow through you and to them and through High Self to them. Just all joining in the breath of unity. Just in your heart, as your heart opens to the heart of High Self, all breathing the breath of unity, of love, of harmony, of beauty. And parts that are heavy or frightened can be here too. And in a moment, as we're bringing our soul work to a close for this morning, this afternoon, this evening, we'll take a breath in a moment and we'll say the sacred phrase, Yawasi, that mantra, to allow us to just hold all of our experience of our inner life, of our inner world. And we'll bow down as we do that, and then we'll take another breath, saying Yawasi as we bow to this world that we live in. Taking a deep breath in. Yawasi. And then just taking a moment, like as in a dream, in the waking dream of soul work, to just reflect on your experience, anything that you wish to remember, because like a dream, it may float away as we hold these different levels of experience. You can reflect on that internally, or you might want to write a word or note, or you maybe, if you're an artist, you want to draw something. Just any way to really reflect and integrate your experience.